777 Night. Ah, the smell of a new glider. It's got a very small shark nose effect with a little crossover of the rods. They don't go very far, they're just a short rod on the undersurface, and on the top surface it runs around to there. Just gives it some shaping. It's also got one of these little foldovers on the undersurface fabric, which just helps to stop flutter in the wing, as far as I understand, and probably helps strengthen it up a little bit across the nose. Feels pretty durable. I did notice when I packed it up, it's one of the larger wings. It does need a bit of volume to pack up. It might have something to do with the reinforcing rods that are running inside the ribs, and just the general construction. It certainly feels durable and well made. The riser set, very nice riser set. This is pretty much, I would say, a professional standard. You've got nice, strong but slender webbing. You've got nice color coding for your A's. These plastic inserts and the mailons that stops the mailon coming undone. It's a very nice and tidy way of doing the risers. You've got 3 A's, 3 B's, a stabilo, and 3 C's. And on the C's you'll see those are unsheathed. That's a Kevlar line, which is very stable in length, and that's important for the C lines because they don't have much loading, and they're usually the ones that end up shrinking and then giving you a stall problem. So that's nice to see that on the C's. The brakes got a little swivel over there. It's a very good way of getting rid of twists up in the lines. It's got an extra little bit of sheathing just where the knot is done. Comfy, spongy, with a good magnet that keeps it in place on the risers. Harken pulleys on the speed bar. All around, top quality riser set. Very good, and what you'd expect to see on a modern wing. The brakes are set very short, meaning that they take very high up. So if you're used to flying the glider with long brakes, you need to adjust your flying. Look at the wing and make sure you can see where the brake starts engaging. Pull down a bit and you get that quarter brake position, and then look where your hand is. It might be significantly higher than you're used to. What this means is you have to take care on ground handling when you're pulling up. If you like to have the brakes like that when you're ground handling, as soon as your hands are to the sides, you're going to be pulling brake a little bit on the glider. And you have to keep your hands right up to avoid pulling brakes, which makes the ground handling a little bit more challenging. In the air, I found it was a very comfortable position for flying. And the brakes take so high that you can actually comfortably fly in the tourist position, just like that, because the glider is giving you a lot of response very high up. It's a very responsive wing, partly because of the high brake position and also just the general responsiveness of the wing. You can pull a little bit of brake and you get a turn, and it's very, very quick to go around. You know, very nice turn. I didn't find it was dropping and banking and needing to be catched. It was just whoop, you can go around nice and tight and get up in the thermals. I found it was an excellent thermaling glider. I could get it tight into the core and I had no problem controlling it, and I didn't feel like I needed to manage the glider much. You could just whip it round, get it going. This is a mid-B. It's not entirely accessible for somebody coming straight out of paragliding school, where you would look at something like the Pawn is a better match. You want to get a high A, if there's such a thing, as your first wing, so that you can progress easily. And then this is your second wing. You're stepping up to it. I'd put it on a level with the Epsilon 9 in sort of bracketing the wing, around about mid-B. You do need to have some ability to be able to manage the wing well. Having said that, it's super easy to fly. It's very responsive, lovely, nice feeling in the thermal. I found when I was accelerated, it felt very secure, and it feels like it's got good performance. I was finding I was gliding around with the crew of people, normally a scattering of high Bs and C wings and mid Bs that I'm flying with, and I felt competitive on this wing. I think if you're flying towards the top end of the weight range, you're going to get the maximum out of this wing, in that you're going to have speed and stability and glide and good climb rate. I felt the wing's got everything you need. Big ears are absolutely simple. Pull them down, they sit in nicely, they're very balanced. You can push on the bar, and when you want to release them, let go, and maybe give them a little bit of encouragement to open. But super nice. I did some big asymmetrics. I got about a 45-degree turn from a half wing collapse, and then the wing started sorting itself out, balancing out, and then I could pump it out and reinflate. Mid-B in pilot demands, very standard responses. I did the turning test where I put in too much brake on the inside of a turn and then kind of lean out and try and get the wing to spin. It takes a long time. It builds up speed. It keeps its energy through. It doesn't like to slip and spin. And it doesn't also bite into a thermal, bite into a dive at all. So very nice responses there. On the stall point, I went down and down and down and hold the brakes. You've got lots of pressure when you're coming to the stall point. It was predictable, and it gave me a confident feeling on the entry and exit from the stall. So very comfortable with that. I think the wing holds itself together very nicely. It's moderately easy to ground handle. It's not particularly challenging, but it does have a slight tendency when it's low to want to spin. And you need to bring the wing through the lower part of the pull-up arc to get it into a nice position. But I felt it was calm overhead. It was easy to pin down on the ground when the wind was really strong. So who's it for? I'd say a pilot in their second year of flying. So your first year, you went through school, you logged maybe 50 hours on your first wing, and now you're looking to get something that you can go cross-country on, you can progress with. This is a classic progression wing. I would say it's a mid-B. It's really good at thermaling, and I think it's got a lot of performance. For the class, I think it's very competitive. You've got a nice high speed, You've got very good thermaling responses and agility, comfortable to fly, simple to fly, and overall gives you a good feeling in the air. The knight, let's take it to the battle.
Like a shotgun, you gotta be my someone.